Joy.
You got your joy?
Yeah.
That's nice. You like
friend.
the joy's your friend? That's nice.
Good morning, everyone. Chores are all done. It's good to be back home here again. And we're actually going to leave for the day, so we won't be home for very long, I guess. We're going to do a bit of a drive around and head for Manitoulin Island, actually. It's another area of interest. We've camped there on occasion and driven through lots. Coming from southern across the ferry up to the north. Always liked it there, enjoyed the area. Very scenic, beautiful, and also remote and quiet. It's just a nice area. Farther from markets, but not like it was in Saskatchewan. I mean, you can still raise animals and deliver them to an auction barn somewhere. But, you know, there's options 2-3 hours away. Whereas in Saskatchewan, there was zero options for that unless you're raising beef. There was no options at all. So yeah. Anyway, calves here are all fed. I may have made a mistake in buying this little feller. I mean, the price was right. We're gonna try our best to nurse him back, but he had a bit of the scours there, and we were discussing it. We thought he was probably going to be all right, but we couldn't really get him to drink much this morning, and he doesn't look too happy, and he definitely looks a little bit more scoured up. So we'll do what we can. We'll try anyway. The other feller's doing great. He's a nice little calf. Drank his bottle real well. I wonder if maybe they have him pail trained, because he's already eaten in his calf starter pail and everything. So if you don't know what that is, we feed him, it's a bit of a mixture. It's a textured ration. There's a bit of stuff in there, and it's geared for the little guys. So I like to feed that with the milk. They get drinking that out of their pails. I like feeding them in bottles, actually. Preferably the longer the better. The sucking action on the nipple is really healthy for them, and that creates a lot of saliva, and all of it's better for their immune system. But it takes a lot longer. You got to stand there with a bottle. If you got multiple calves to feed, it's a lot simpler to put it in a pail. And I wonder if they were feeding pails just because of the fact that he's already eating his calf starter. No, I'm not sure. I never asked, I guess. But I was happy to see that, because once they start eating that, then there's less chance of anything bad happening to them. Whereas this other feller, I don't know, he didn't want to eat or drink or nothing. I shoved a handful in his mouth, but he didn't seem too interested in that either. All right, we'll see how he does. But anyway, we're going to be off for the day. Gonna go do that, get all the chores done, and we will videotape some stuff, taking the drone along as well. So it should be a fun little trip. It's about a 4-hour drive from here. So we're on our way to Manitoulin and looking just on the Realtor app and seeing what else is around. This is an area here close to Warren and Verner, and there's a lot of farmland around here. It's very nice, rugged as well, and a lot of beef country. Prices are still very reasonable here. More than, probably priced more than Manitoulin, but there's more farmland, and you're closer to places where you can get rid of the cattle and things like that. So there's a couple of places in this area that kind of piqued our interest. We thought we'd get off the highway and take a look, and this is one of them here. So it's got some barns there that are, well, they're not new anymore, but there's still lots of life left in it. And I think it's 160 acres, I think. We weren't quite sure. I'd have to look at that again. But it's got some character, some rolling hills in there. There's a creek running through, a couple of ponds, which would be perfect for the ducks, the geese. Just lots of little characters. So kind of the type of property we're looking at. We're coming up here now. Turn the camera around. There's we're on the side road, and it goes up a hill here. There's some rock, and it looked like from the aerial, it looked kind of like maples, and that's something that we were really interested in. The lane in here. So we're just going to climb up on this hill and see if there is in fact any maples on this property as well or not. Yeah, it's kind of an interesting piece. Very scenic back in here anyway. Alright, so this is another property. A little farther down the road, closer to Manitoulin again. This one's also appealing. It's a much larger chunk of land. Price is right. But yeah.
Your destination is on the right.
Oh, never mind. Yeah. So this definitely needs some work. Needs some work on this place. I don't know if that's a tile or what's running out of there. Maybe coming from the other side. Little pond behind the house. House could probably use a little bit of work. Looks like a newer roof on it though. And then there's that barn to it. The aerial looks like it needs a bit of cleanup. There's a bunch of debris and trash laying around. But a good decent sized chunk of land going in. Shop. Strange that there's no windows on this side upstairs in the house. Kind of dark and dungy. Eh? No. So the price is right, but even that barn, there's a lot of work needs to be done to that. It's a big barn though. I wonder if the farm equipment comes with it or not. So all this land goes all the way up to the corner over there by the looks of it. I see a sign hanging up on the post, and then it goes back quite a ways, back that way too. I forget, this one was almost 300 acres, wasn't it? 200 acres? 200 acres. Not sure. We're not feeling it. We've looked in this area once before, many years ago. And it just, I don't know. Didn't really impress us, but we thought we'd take a look at the farm. Like I said, it's priced right. There also doesn't look like there's any much for mature trees here. Short scrubby stuff. No maples. No hardwoods. Well, it's still going here. Maybe it might be this fence line here, maybe. Yeah, well that time's kind of random. I don't know why. Oh, there's no trees here, so they couldn't nail it to anything. I'm guessing that's it here. Hey, getting close to the island. We've been driving for a while. We're the only way to get across. There's a bridge. Is that Espanola? Is the top? No, past that. I can't think where it is. But anyway, there's a bridge crossing onto Manitoulin Island from the north side, and on the south side there's a ferry. So we're getting close to that. Just see the beauty around here. The water is crystal clear. You can look right down and see the bottom. Up here it looks like they've got quite a bit of windmills going now. I don't remember that. It's been a while since we were here, but they've obviously built a few of those. And it's just stunning. All this water everywhere. I don't know if that'll show up on camera or not, how clear it is, but you can see right down. Yeah, spring has sprung, and he's just saying the grass is so green. Not right here particularly. It's a little drier soil here. You can see some green grass, but in certain areas the grass was just lit right up. Beautiful color. So they're definitely more advanced as far as climate than us, which is nice considering we want to do some, growing different foods. A warmer environment helps. Looking it up on the internet, Manitoulin Island, depending on which part, most parts of Manitoulin Island are definitely a much warmer climate than where we're looking here in North Bay. So that's something that intrigues us. That's the bridge crossing coming right here now. This here that we're on is classed as Goat Island. I'm not sure why. I tried to Google that, but there was no information to be found. And that bridge here crosses us to Manitoulin Island. And Manitoulin Island is fairly large, and it's made up of lots of different lakes and different parts to it. This bridge actually moves, if I recall. It turns. It swivels in the middle to allow boat traffic to go through. And so right now we have a red light, so I don't know if it's about to move. That'd be kind of cool. Or what the deal is. It doesn't look like it's moving. So I don't know why we have a red light, but anyway.
It's only one lane, I think.
Is it? Oh, maybe. North Channel. So, but anyway, just stunning. And it's a beautiful day. I didn't check the temperature. They had said it was going to get up to 17 degrees. Probably is there. The sun feels easing through the window. You can see on the other side some of these homes here, they got some nice green grass going in their lawns there. We are not at that point yet where we're at in North Bay. I know many parts of Southern Ontario are, but we haven't quite got there yet, so intrigued to see what we'll find.
There's green and there's a red.
Right, so we have the, like, you can stop on both sides, and then this bridge opens up or turns sideways. I can't remember. I think it's turned sideways on
It's definitely only a one lane, eh?
onto these things. And the boats can come through.
So can you stand on here while it does it?
No. Really hope
I don't imagine they'd let you. This guy runs it here in this thing. Cruising up the big first hill here. You can see the water down below. I got the camera out a little late, but just stunning. And you can see that green grass there. It does look relatively dry here. Now, again, we're on a hill, so I don't know. It may be sandy or rocky. But yeah. The trees, too, they have far more buds on than back home. I mean, there's full-fledged leaves on. They're small still, I guess. I shouldn't say full-fledged, but there's quite a bit of leaves on these trees already. We do not have that yet down there. Definitely advanced. Even the grass here. Sorry about all the stuff on the dash. She's a little dirty. Look at that grass. They're quite a ways ahead of us. One thing we really appreciate about these areas, Manitoulin and that whole Sault Ste. Marie to Sudbury trip and stuff, is just the rugged landscape, the rockiness and the hills, the views that you can see, waterfalls and stuff. Beautiful. Here, of course, we're in a little treed area again down below, but a lot of the farms, when you see them, not so much here yet, but some of the other areas will show there's a lot of character to the old barns and houses and stuff. You know, they're just nice little spots, tucked away and still affordable. It's a ferry ride to the mainland, and that keeps people away because it does cost a little bit more to travel, and makes it farther away. There's a nice little waterfall. Just a beautiful area. Again, those trees up ahead, you can see how the leaves are all coming out. Very nice. A lot of these cedar fences in there. So much character in these old places. Looks like some kind of a scenic area on the water there. Campground or something. Soap factory. Alright, we're about 15 minutes from that property. Just awesome to think that you can own here. We just passed an old abandoned farm. Not like I can knock on the door. Here's another one actually coming up. Old abandoned house here. And a lot of this is just beef country. A lot of the island is. But to think you could own this still, and it's a decent price. You could live and farm with that as your backyard is phenomenal. Very, very beautiful. Here you can see there's a lot of ranch country, and that's primary agriculture on the island. There's a lot of beef and ranching going on, but other things as well. There's a few dairy farms, a couple chicken farms, things like that. Like on a larger scale, lots of small stuff, I'm sure. There's sheep and things like that here as well. These some of the nicer farms around here. I was told by an old timer once upon a time that you can tell the fruitfulness of the land by the size of the barns. The old guys did not build barns just for fun. They built stuff that the land could sustain and that they needed for the animals on the farm. So, you know, that's a decent sized barn, and it would have cost a few bucks to build back in the day. Obviously the land is fruitful enough to support that. And here you see a couple more big barns. We already passed a few too before I turned the camera on. But there's a couple of large farms coming up here as well. And that tells me, based on the old timer's opinion, and it makes sense, it tells me that this land supports that, right? They would have had a farm with every 100 or 200 acres or whatever it is, and these are, you know, that's a big farm for back in the day when they would have built that. One back in there as well. You know, that's a good sign. I've been to certain areas where the barns are very small, and they're also on 100 or 200 acres, but it's a very small barn. and a very tiny house, and it just shows that those people never economically did very well. So back in the day, again, that was based on the land and the nutritional value of the land, not so much. I mean, they didn't work off the farm so much to support it. Nowadays, we buy and feed from wherever you want, so seeing a modern day barn that's massive on 100 acres doesn't mean that that land will support the barn. But back when these were built, you couldn't exactly truck it all in from wherever you want. That sand crane out there, yeah. There's a whole lot of sand cranes back in there. So, anyway, here's another one. Behind these trees, these are big, big barns. So we're just coming up here now. The property's up at the top of that. You gotta go up to the end here and then around the corner. It's up on the right hand side. The first one that we want to take a look at here on the island. There's one on this side. We are on the east side of the island. Still up in the northern, northeastern corner of Manitoulin, I guess. And so far we're really liking what we see. Very, very much. We passed one farm that had looked like fruit trees of some kind. I'm assuming they were apple trees, all planted. Quite a few of them. Grapes, you said? Oh, there's some grapes in there too. So this one here is up on the side here, I believe, right here. I could be pointing at the wrong place, but I believe this is part of it. Yeah, we got to keep going up the road here yet, but I think this might be part of the fields. There's beautiful bush. We also passed a field with sheep grazing away. That place looks almost abandoned. This is on the other side of the road. I'm sorry I'm swinging you guys around so fast. There's just lots to look at.
Yeah, that one's empty.
It looks like that's all.
Okay, there's a fence right there.
So right here, this is, what is this little house in here? Is that not it? No. I'm going to have to look at the map. It says we've arrived. That looks like an old schoolhouse. Very pretty. Old schoolhouse. I don't imagine we're using that, although we could use it for homeschooling. Look at the view from up here. And then here's an old church. So I don't know, there's an old little community. I have to do some research on that. I'll take a look at the map here a minute because I'm not sure exactly where we are. Okay, we were in the wrong spot. We're a little farther up on the road, but I think it's coming up here now. Very nice. Really liking these farms. Just passed a couple of them. There, here we go. So that's the house. Slower right down here. Looks like somebody's been plowing this. Okay.
Cute.
100 acres?
I think so, 100, yeah.
Got an outdoor wood stove on it too. There, see that? House is still pretty close to the road.
Nice fair size barn, shop,
Yeah, that barn's huge.
and a house.
You think? In shorts? Yeah. There's a farm across the road too. That's empty.
There's some houses back over there.
So farther back, yeah. It's a beautiful little place.
Kind of nice.
It is awfully close to the road though. I'm not too keen on that. Needs a bit of work. Again,
There's no
places
sign.
it's reflected in the prices.
That's too bad. This barn's falling down. That's too bad.
It's still fixable probably. Look at that old fence.
Look at the little
Look at
barn.
the little shed.
Oh yeah, that's cute.
Some trees in the yard.
What little?
Yeah, I like
There's
it.
a little one right here behind Cora's head. Cora, can you move your head a minute? Right there. You see the little more look here.
I think he's.
So this is still part of the land. On the corner, best we can figure from the aerial is that this building, whatever it is severed off. And seeing as it's got one of these Bible signs in the front, I'm just guessing there maybe that's some kind of a church, or was. But it doesn't look like it's used anymore, so I don't know what the deal would be on that. Something we'd have to ask, but it is a very intriguing property though. It's kind of nice.